Welcome to this video where we are going to talk about built-in functions. And built-in functions are functions. What is a function? It's actually something that helps you to process information like a variable. And these functions, they are built-in. So they're built-in Python. You don't need to download something and make it available, or you don't need to provide the function by your own. They are always there. They are omnipresent. They are built-in Python. So these functions cover a broad range of functionalities of frequently occurring tasks. So the Python developers, they sat together and they were thinking about what is actually a very often occurring task for programmers, and they came up with the functionality in terms of a built-in function. So these are the built-in functions that we mainly use in the course. So we have many different built-in functions, and we are covering in this video just a couple of them, and some other built-in functions like the print function will be covered later. So let's jump into our notebook and let's have a look on the first built-in function, ABS, that actually returns the absolute value of a number. So ABS of -3, for example, is actually leading to +3 because it's the absolute value. And of course, you can also provide a integer here, for example, -19, come up with abs of that integer variable, and you have the absolute value. This is how it works. So we need to come up with the built-in functions, have parentheses, and in the parentheses, we are having a so-called function argument. In this case, we are passing a number as shown in the table. We have abs of x, that's a single variable, and then you are coming up with the absolute value. Type is the next built-in functions we would like to look into, a very important built-in functions to just get back what data type you have. So we just learned that my underscore I is an integer, and we know that Python is using the abbreviation int here. So it's a very useful tool to check what data type you actually have. Let's also check that ABC is a string. So we can also come up with a float number, for example 1.2, the minus of it is a float. So we have many other built-in functions. So let's have a look on round. That is actually having two arguments here, round x and then the number of digits. So if I come up with a float like this, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's my float. So let's store a variable, store it in a variable like this, and then re-round a. We can also come up with without any number of digits because it's an optional argument. That's what you see here, because we have n digits equal none, and if you are not providing anything, then this none is actually saying, okay, we want to have a rounding so that we come up with an integer in the end. But we can also specify the number of digits, in this case 2, and then we are coming up with just 3.12. And actually this is also rounding up. So if we are coming up with a 6 here and we are rounding to the number of digits of 3, then indeed the 3 becomes a 4, right? Because 6 is indicating we want to round in the upwards direction. Another useful built-in function is len for length. Returns the length of a list or string. List is a data type that we learn later about, and we are just having len and then an object, and let's do this. So we have len of a string ABC, and this is of course 3 because we have 3 characters. So this is it for this video. In the next video we are going to talk about methods. That's also very similar to functions, and we are talking about a couple of built-in methods for strings, so stay tuned.